Hello everyone and welcome to my Java programming tutorial. In this video we will talk about interfaces. So many students get confused with the word inheritance and interfaces. So there is a slight difference between inheritance and interface. Inheritance, you have seen that it creates a parent-child relationship with the extends keyword, and you can use inheritance once because just like in a normal real life you have one parent. That's how the inheritance work in programming as well. You can only inherit one class, that's it. With interfaces, what interfaces does, it says relatedness of type. So just like for example certain operations that are common to all shapes. So we are taking the example of shapes. So circle is a shape, rectangle is a shape, and triangle is also a shape, right? So if anyone who claims to be a shape must know how to calculate area and parameter, but their formulas are different, right? So that's not our concern is, but the only thing is if anyone belongs to one family, like a shape family or a vehicle family or a fruits family, something like this, they claim to be something, they must know their features. So let's take a look. We have this shape, area and parameter, right? So if rectangle says I'm a shape, so area, rectangle must know what's the formula for area, and parameter we have circle, area and parameter we have triangle with different area and parameter. As you can see, everyone is calculating an area and parameter in their own different way. They have different formula to calculate their area and parameter, but they all are shape, right? So if someone asks, hey rectangle, which family you belong to, rectangle won't say that I belong to a vehicle family, right? It's I belong to a shape, I'm a shape, right? So this is what interfaces is. Let's take a look what interfaces really does. So list of method that a class can implement. Interface gives you is a relationship without code sharing. So what inheritance is doing, it gives you code sharing. You are, when you use the inheritance, when you use extends keyword with two classes, it means you are sharing the code, just like we have seen the example of employee and lawyer, right? So when I said lawyer extends employee, lawyer was inheriting all the methods from the employee. With interfaces, it's like an opposite case. There is no code sharing at all. So, and no code sharing means interfaces is not even providing you code. There's a couple of example over here for interface from a real life, that someone says I'm a certified as a CPA accountant. That means I know how to compute taxes, perform audits, and do consulting. Then someone says I am a certified as a shape, right? So that means I know how to compute the area and parameter. So this is what a little concept of interfaces is. So this is how you create an interface. With the interface keyword, you give a name and then you write the method name which you want that anyone who claims to be this interface must implement these two methods. When you create an interface, inside of those interface, you don't implement the method. So this is how you do, and we call these are as abstract method. Abstract methods are a header without an implementation. So you are just writing method header that anyone who says I'm a vehicle, so it should return the speed, it should set the direction and give you a value of direction, and they are ended with a semicolon because there is no curly braces, because there is no implementation of that method. And who will do the implementation? Anyone who claims to be a vehicle will do the implementation of these two methods, and they must do the implementation of those two methods, otherwise that will be a compiler error. A little definition of abstract method: the actual body is not specified to allow force different classes to implement the behavior in its own way. So everyone will be giving their values. If bicycle says I'm a vehicle, so the speed of bicycle will be different as compared to a car or a motorbike or an airplane, something, anything. So all these vehicles have different speed, right? So they are implementing these methods in their own way. So we will stick to our example of shapes. So this is how you create shape interface. Anyone who claims to be a shape must know how to implement area and parameter, and there is no restrictions. As you can see, there is no rule that you have to calculate area in a certain way or you have to calculate parameter in a certain way. No, you can calculate it any way you want, but your method, both of your methods should return a double value. This is how you have written the shape interface. And how to implement: so you create a class, public class, whatever the class name is, and you use implements as a keyword for interface. Remember, for the inheritance, we use extends keyword, but for interface, we will use implement as a keyword, and you write the interface over here, what interface you are following. And just like over here, the example is public class bicycle implements vehicle. So vehicle is an interface which you already created, and this bicycle is claiming to be an interface. So bicycle must return a speed or set the direction. And a class can declare that it implements an interface. That means the class must contain each of the, it says must contain. So each of the abstract methods in that interface. Maybe bicycle is like, I know how to set the speed, but I don't know how to set the direction. Then that will be a compiler. Your code will not work. Okay, so interface requirements again. If a class claims to be a shape but doesn't implement area and parameter method, it will not compile. So it will give you an error. Maybe banana says I'm a shape, I implement shape, and banana doesn't know how to calculate area and parameter. That's an error. So let's jump onto Eclipse and see what we have. So what you will do is file, new, and there is an option interface. So we will be creating an interface. Our interface name is shape. So finish. In this, whenever you create an interface of anything, like you can say fruits, vegetables, or you can name something of your own. This is your own interface. Like you may create your own rules for this. So my interface name is shape. So inside of interface, you will not write any of your main method or any of your coding. You just write method headers which you want other classes to implement when they say they are a shape. So for shape, my rules are, or it's a general rule, must know how to calculate area, semicolon, as this is an abstract method. So abstract method means no implementation, and they ends with a semicolon. You can write 2 methods, 3 methods, 1, or you may write 100 of them. That anyone who claims to be your interface, any name you have given, and they must implement these 100 methods, something like this. Up to you. So anyone who claims to be a shape must implement these 2 methods. Okay, so after creating an interface, we will create a class. So you can create any classes who claims to be just like normal class. Let's create a class of circle, and to use or claim this circle to be a shape, what you will do is you use the implements keyword. As you can see, it turns red, it means it's a keyword, and make sure capital S implements shape. So now there is an error with your class name because it is asking you to implement those 2 abstract methods written in this shape. As long as you're not writing those abstract methods or implementing those abstract methods, it will not let you compile. So public double, you have to make sure the return type is same, method name is same, open close parenthesis, like this. Now what you have to do is, for circle, what's the formula for calculating the area for circle and parameter for circle? You need radius. So I have private radius semicolon. I will be creating a constructor for circle, public circle, and inside, whenever a circle object is constructed, I want user to enter the radius of that circle. So it will be double starting curly braces, ending curly braces. Inside, I will assign that value to my field radius. Now what I want this variables, these 2 public double area and parameter, is to implement those 2 formulas. So for area, we have the formula is equals to pi r square. So you can say math dot pi. So as you can see, you just got the value times radius and semicolon, and you will return area. So as you can see, the error from these lines is gone because I have done a valid implementation of calculating an area for the circle because I'm returning a double. So same over here, you can see the error still exists because it's asking you to return a double value. Even if you just implement one method and you don't implement the second one, the error is still over there. So you need to implement all the methods. So this is a slide where you have all the formulas for your rectangle, circle, triangle. So I want you to create all these 3 classes, and these 3 classes will implement shape, and all these three classes will have these abstract methods according to their area and parameter. Then we will test in our client class how those things works. Okay, so as you can see, I have created three classes: triangle implements shape, and I have in triangle I have three fields, A, B, and C. All three fields are private, and I've created a constructor asking for A, B, C values, and then I will assign these three values to my fields. Then I have implemented two methods which were in my shape interface, which is area and parameter, in with different formula, as you can see, as compared to circle. Then I have this rectangle class over here, and what you have to do is, wherever the class you are creating, you need to make sure that you implement that class with the shape if you want to make sure that this class belongs to the shape family. So if the client want to print the shape, any kind of shape, area and parameter, your class should be connected to this family. Okay, so rectangle implement shape. Again, for rectangle we need width and height. I created a constructor, and then I implemented area and parameter, which are two methods. That's it. Now let's create our client class, and new class, and it will be, let's say, shape client, and finish. And inside of my client class, what I will do is main method, public static void, square brackets, arguments, and what I will do is I will create a static method, public static void print info is the method name, and what this method is asking is of shape. Anyone who's claiming to be a shape, this method will work. So, and what we are printing inside, we are printing system.out, because this is a string. I want to print it as a string. Shape is, and put a colon, space, concatenation operator, and print the name of that shape, which is S. And inside system.out.println, and let's say area is space concatenation of s dot area, and same with the parameter, and then semicolon. And now in my main method I will create object of those classes. So let's say I will create an object of circle as C equals to new circle, and inside I have to pass the radius. Let's say radius is 20.4 and semicolon. Then I will be creating an object of my rectangle class height. So let's say width is 20, height is 40, triangle as T equals to new triangle. Just random values I'm passing. What I will do now is I will call this print info method and pass my shape and print the info of all the, or maybe the results of all these three objects. So print info is my method, and I will be using the same method to print different values, and it will work for all of my different shapes. So print info C, R, and no error so far in my code. Let's run my code. And this is what we have. Okay, so to avoid that error, what you have to do is you're calling your toString method. So for toString method, you have not written the toString method. It will return a string, and as you're writing the toString method in your circle class, method name is toString. You are overriding the Java built-in toString method. Java doesn't know what your toString method wants to print. That's why it's printing the address. So what you will do is return, let's just return a string saying circle. You can return any string to make sure that your code is readable. So as you can see, for toString, I want to, whenever someone says toString method for circle, it should print circle. And let's go to triangle, and we will do the same, control V, and you have to change this time because for triangle it's not circle, it's triangle. And let's go back to rectangle. So now let's go back to client, and our code should work. Let's run, and as you can see now, with you don't have the address, you have circle, rectangle, all of these three names, and then you are printing the area, circle, and the parameter. Okay, that's it for this video. Thank you. Bye bye.